Okay guys, so this week we wanted to give you a primer on kobudo, or weapons. We consider that the other half of karate. Don't think of it as using a weapon to strike your opponent down, but more of a tool to help your unarmed combat. You need to think about your body as chains in a link, right? So everything is driven from the ground, it transfers up your body all the way to the end. Instead of just your fists being the point of impact, you're holding on to something. They become the end of that link. They become the next chain in that whip. One more concept. If you're holding onto a stick that requires two hands, the weakest point of the link, or the shortest point here, is my front arm, right? So if I'm doing like a downward strike, everything ends right here because this is where as long as my arm is. So if you want to think this is the end of the chain, I need to add another link to add more power. So you want to try your best to always figure out a way to slide your grip to the end of the chain. Just like a baseball player. Baseball batter doesn't bat with his hand up here because it locks him up right here, and he's gonna have to put both his hands together and swing through, right? So a swing like this is not as powerful as a swing like that. Same thing here. If I'm going to strike down, it's not as powerful as striking down with the slide or across. And of course that transfers to your empty hand, right? So I can't throw a punch just like this. I need to pull this back and carry all the way through. As you can see, there's not much difference between using armed and unarmed weapons. So you can see holding a stick, this forces you to use two hands at the same time, just like without a weapon. So this thing was going to bring down, and this one's going to pull back to do a strike. So you're helping build that type of coordination using your hands at the same time. If you're not holding a stick and you have something shorter but it's connected by a rope or a chain, just think of it as adding another chain to the link. So if it was a solid stick, you would add it to your shoulder, elbow, wrist, grip, and then your weapon. And then now you're adding something else. So now you have shoulder, elbow, wrist, grip, and then something at the end. So, but the mechanics are exactly the same. I use my arm like a whip. Now if I have two, it's exactly the same. One last thing, Okinawan weaponry also has some type of hook to it. Just like a hook for a grip, or grabbing onto something with no gi, or grabbing onto a lapel, you're grabbing onto something with this type of grip here. This is very much like hooking this way, very much like hooking this way. So all the same mechanics happen, right? So I'm hooking, I can turn, I can manipulate some limbs, and also I can strike with it as well. Just like you're striking with your fingertips, you're striking with the tip of this here.